What's up guys, this is Darkbblue, a gamer who loves Souls-like games, looter games, and every game that involves build making. In Rogue Trader, you can play with different DPS characters. Abelard, Heinrichs, Argenta, and your Lord Captain can all do this. However, all of them must rely on a full team of supporters. Supporters are who really make your favorite attackers shine. In this video, we will be focusing on these supporters. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Now let's dive right into it. In Rogue Trader, basically there are 4 supporting archetypes: Operative and Officer as primary archetype, and Strategist and Tactician as secondary archetype. Generally speaking, Operative aims to debuff one elite enemy. Officer aims to buff one character. Strategist buffs many characters, but this is limited to a certain zone on the combat. And Tactician may be the most complicated to understand among them all. It both focuses on resolve combo and has decent damage output itself. Next, let me introduce each of them. Operative is both a DPS and a supporting archetype, but I'll focus on how it supports your team. A most important usage of Operative is expose weaknesses. This ability reduces enemies' armor and dodge. Since many elites in late game have over 200 armor, which is very insane, expose weaknesses is really crucial. So to maximize the effect, you need to know that it depends on both exploit stacks and perception, and exploit depends on intelligence. So if you only have one operative in your team, do make sure this operative has both high perception and intelligence. And if there are multiple operatives, make sure to let the one with higher perception to use exposed weaknesses. One more thing to mention, 2 exposed weaknesses cannot stack. The new one will replace the old one instead. So if you want stronger debuff, the only way is to stack exploits at first and then convert them all into exposed weaknesses. Generally, exposed weaknesses is the core of Operative. It also has some other supporting talents of course, but since they are not that important, I'll leave them for you to explore. Next, we have the one true god Officer. 3 officers mean guaranteed victory. That's the conclusion. The most unique advantage of Officer is that it grants extra turns, mostly through 2 means. One is bring it down and the other is seize the initiative. Bring it down gives extra turns to team members, and seize the initiative gives Officer itself an extra turn at the start of a combat. And during this starting extra turn, you can use bring it down on your DPS characters or other supporters so that they can buff others. With enough officers, my combat experience has already become like this. During extra turns and Strategist forced first act, my Rogue Trader is fully buffed and kills some mobs. This grants me enough momentum to use Warrior's heroic act so I can kill almost every enemy, and all of this happens even before the real turn of my Rogue Trader even starts. So remember, bring it down and seize the initiative are what you want to grab for each officer. Based on this, well, you can make an officer even more helpful with more abilities and talents. But you should pick ability according to what your team really needs. For example, if you need temporary wounds like my defensive Vanguard build, choose Get Back in the Fight. And if you need higher resolve for builds like Sanctic Psyker, choose Air of Authority. Or if you have Arc Militant in your team, Move is a very good choice. On one hand, it stacks versatility as Bring It Down as well, and on the other, if Wildfire's AP cost is reduced to 0, you can even attack in Move's extra turn. For talents, my primary recommendation is More Than Possible, since it makes Bring It Down even better. For other talents, well, read them all by yourself and decide. The next archetype we are talking about is Strategist. Before we go into any detailed talents or ability, I'd like to emphasize that Strategist always acts the first in the combat. This is forced by a trait that you have as long as you choose to be a Strategist. and this can work along with Seize the Initiative. You will first have an next turn when you can only use officer abilities, then during the first turn you will also be the first to act. This feature is very important. I can see that even without any other bonuses, just this one is enough to make Strategist a broken archetype. But Strategist does have other bonuses. Such bonuses' effect is straightforward, just some damage or survival or mobility bonuses. However, how they are casted upon each team member is a bit tricky. Strategist first places a zone or area on the battlefield and then use abilities on these zones. Only members or enemies that are in these zones will be affected. So this means that range builds are better synergized with strategies than melee builds, as they can stand still while killing most enemies. As a comparison, melee characters have to, move around, which make them inevitably get out of these zones. So basically, Strategist is easy to understand, so I'll move on. Finally, it's time to talk about Tactician. This might be the most complicated archetype. Basically, you can do two things with Tactician. The first is resolve combo and the other is output damage with Tactician itself. So what is this resolve combo? The most basic uses of resolve is to generate momentum at the start of each turn and when enemies are killed. Then, momentum is the source for activating heroic acts. However, if the only thing you do with resolve is to activate heroic acts, Tactician is really unnecessary. It really shines when you start to convert resolve into other bonus. Now this is why Tactician is tricky. Although this archetype provides a complete set of solutions for stacking resolve, it doesn't provide enough means to convert it into other bonus. So only one Tactician doesn't make the resolve combo whole. You'll need other gears or archetypes to get a complete resolve combo. So now let me show you some good means to exploit resolve. Sanctic Psyker has a talent that grants crit chance equal to resolve, and the offensive Vanguard build I've shown in my previous videos also converts momentum gain into temporary wounds, and temporary wounds into damage bonus. If you are sure that you do have this means to convert resolve into other bonus, you can now refer to the following combo to stack resolve. Leashpin is a good ability to bonus resolve, then two talents synergizing will also serve as a good resolve source. The first one heals any teammate when this character gains more than 5 momentum, and then the second talent grants one resolve bonus with each heal. So this basically stacks one resolve with every kill, very efficient. You can even pair this synergy with a colony trait with heal gains damage bonus. Then this becomes a stackable damage bonus with each kill. So this is the big picture of Tactician's resolve combo. It's very broken, but you need to manually make it complete with gears and archetypes other than Tactician itself. Now let's move to the second thing you can do with Tactician. Press the advantage ability grants huge damage bonus for Tactician, and additionally you can take some talents for more damage as well. If you want to build Cassia as a damage dealer, consider Tactician. In the end, I want to remind you that all the 4 supporting archetypes are important. In most cases, it's wise to have at least one of each in your team. Well, Tactician might be an exception if you really don't need any resolve synergy. So if you use supporters wisely, you will find Rogue Trader a very easy game. If you like my story or want to join me into depth of games, remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, see you around.